Let's talk to Alp Mehmet, Chairman of Migration Watch. Alp, very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Mike.
I mean,
another Monday.
Another Monday, and some more BS to deal with from the government. I'm not quite sure any of this is going to make any difference. What do you make of it all?
I'm always wary when there are announcements that that tell us that there's going to be a crackdown.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister is going to unveil lots of exciting plans. What I heard yesterday, what I read yesterday, suggested to me that very little is going to happen. Let's not forget that the channel and the boats and all that and the ECHR and the way that plays into it, that was supposed to have been dealt with the legislation that's been going through Parliament for the last few months. What has been announced and what is going to be today, well, what we're going to hear about from the Prime Minister is going to be about legal migration. And I'm pretty sure, I'm certain that there's going to be lots and lots of waffle over the next year. Nothing will happen. The 900,000 visas that we issued for people to come here long term in 2024, the over 900,000 extensions of stay that we gave, nothing is going to change. There's going to be lots of bureaucracy, additional bureaucracy, and I'm afraid there's nothing that is going to dissuade people from coming. The flows will continue as high as ever.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? And I mean, they're making a lot out of this idea that if you come to this country and break the law, you will be deported. Well, there's plenty of people who would argue, and Donald Trump would be one of them, if you come to this country illegally, you've already broken the law by coming to this country illegally. Now, the lefties for years have argued, everybody's got the right to claim asylum as soon as they come here. Well, you can make it illegal for them to land here without going through the proper channels, can't you? In which case, you get to deport them as soon as they get here.
Well, it's not that you can make it, it already is the case.
Yeah.
Nothing that I've heard now, or indeed what is in the bill that is going through, needed primary legislation to be introduced.
Yeah.
Everything that the government says it's going to do, it can do now. All it's doing is delaying it all so that it can give the impression of action when, in fact, all they're doing is sitting on their hands.
Yeah, exactly right. And what about this business of earning the right to stay? What does that even mean?
Well, what they're going to do, they say they're going to extend the period, the qualifying period for the time that it will take to claim indefinite leave to remain. That, I think, is quite sensible. And there are a few things that they've said that I think are to be welcomed. For example, coming here to work. Right. They are now going to... the people who are coming here are going to have to qualify with higher qualifications in order to get high-skill work permits. That's good. But all it is reverting to something that Boris Johnson got rid of, in my case, a batty idea that he should never have done, and we criticised it at the time. But all this is really saying nothing new, or indeed anything that needs primary legislation to be introduced.
Yes. And I mean, the problem, of course, has always been, has it not, these many speckled human rights lawyers who will challenge everything at every turn. Although we seem to have seen fewer of them since Labour got in. They obviously don't like the Tories more than they don't like Labour, because they used to challenge absolutely everything. Whereas nowadays, you don't see much of it. But presumably, there'll be plenty of human rights lawyers ready to represent all of these people coming here, either legally or illegally, to make sure that they can stay.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been some vague talk about what they're going to do with regard to claims to stay on human rights grounds. Yeah. For so long as we remain in the ECHR, nothing they do will prevent lawyers, and they may not have been in evidence very much in the media, but they're still there, Mike, and they're still active.
Oh, yeah.
The
Well, now
lawyers
they
who
don't
are
have...
making pots of money out of it.
Well, now they don't have to be quite so active because they've got plenty of their cohorts on the actual bench, haven't they? So when they go before the immigration panel, actually they're more than likely to run into somebody who not only is a left-wing human rights lawyer, but is also somebody who might advocate for refugees.
Well, we've heard so many bizarre judgments that what I would do is get rid of that whole layer of appeals. No need for it, and all we are doing is in effect giving the authority for giving people permission to come here or to stay here to the courts.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about. We should have properly trained, responsible officials who deal with it and deal with it fairly and make the decision, and that should be it.
Yeah.
All this costly, lengthy business of keeping people here for indefinitely is just a waste of money, and is an insult to the British taxpayer.
It really is. And what about this exceptional circumstances phrase that they use, you know, because that's always been used for all manner of different things. You know, anything can be an exceptional circumstance if you make it so. But he says he's going to do away with exceptional circumstances. He's not going to be able to do that, is he?
No. Really, what he's proposing to do is everything that he criticised the Tories for doing. And yeah, I find it very frustrating that here we are talking about it all, so that here we are also giving the impression that the government is going to be doing something about it, when in fact nothing will happen. It will be something like early 2027 before any legislation that is passed is implemented and comes into force. It's going to be another year or 18 months before we have the evidence to show that it hasn't worked. And then we are into an election period with the government saying, well, you know, look what we've done, when in fact they've done absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yvette Cooper, I've got her name for a moment. How can I?
Easy to do.
Yvette Cooper, when pressed yesterday in an interview, said that there will be a reduction of something up to 50,000 people being given visas.
Yeah.
What she didn't say was that the reduction was largely because of measures that the Tories had introduced anyway, and that it's going to be peanuts in the general scheme of things if only 50,000 fewer people are going to be coming here.
Yeah.
This is just taking the mickey, I think.